It's really a way to kind of get out of whatever is happening and just kind of use that to make something. That to me is also really helpful to just kind of feel like I've made something that's gonna like be positive for myself and for other people.
So what's your name?
Hobbes Ginsberg. So I've moved around a little bit. I've been in LA for about 11 months now. I moved here in January, and before that I was living in Seattle for about a year and a half. And before that I was living in Nicaragua for like 6 years, and I did like middle school and high school there. And before that I was in Texas. I identify as queer, so like I go by she or they pronouns. It's like I identify as a girl but not as like transgender or anything like that. I definitely wouldn't have been like open to the idea or like the concept of like queerness, I guess, if it wasn't for like reading about it and seeing about it.
Did you get paid in Nicaragua? How was that?
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of, you know, like homophobic tendencies and a lot of like street harassment and things like that. That was like a big, you know, it was like I couldn't leave my house there without like having things yelled at me all the time. When I would go take photos on the street, and when I was doing that whole project, like it was pretty constant, and like in school it was not a super good environment, but you know, it happens at that age. It's not a very good place for like someone to be growing up like artsy and queer and just kind of weird, and so that wasn't very fun. But like besides that, it's a good place. It's just not a good place for like a young teenager. I mean, I had to switch schools at one point. From like 9th grade to 10th grade I switched schools because it got really bad in the first one, but I don't know, I wasn't really like a go to my parents kind of person. My dad is like was raised Jewish, and my mom is I don't know, Catholic, I think. You know, when I moved and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna go to college and I'm gonna just do my photography thing and I'm gonna do it my way and do blah blah blah, they weren't super like excited about that whole deal. And so it's kind of been a long process of getting them to really open up to what's happening now. You know, you just gotta keep like pushing things out and like keep making and keep practicing and keep just, if I don't do stuff for a while, I just get like antsy and like irritated and not happy with things. I don't put a lot of like deep thought into what the sort of symbolism behind the stuff that I use is. I just kind of feel like on some sort of subconscious level it's doing what I want it to. So what I'm doing right now is setting up for a still life that is gonna hopefully be the cover to a book that I'm making for LA Art Book Fair. I did for New York Art Book Fair a like magazine, and it was all of my self-portraits, and so I wanted to kind of switch it up and do something that I hadn't really done before. But I like the idea of sort of putting this like style and like this me sort of thing that I've created via the photography onto like as many mediums as possible. I don't imagine myself dropping it anytime soon. It fulfills that like creative urge in a way that nothing else has before. People like it, I like it, so like I'll probably keep doing it. Especially a little while back, I really kind of used it in that way to work through a lot of like feelings of depression and things like that, and it was really helpful for me in that way. You know, I don't release statements or anything like that when I put out my work, and so all of it is kind of just like to be taken in as it is, and then people can kind of do what they will with that, and I like it better that way.
Sleep becomes a shelter from a memory.